The United States of America. 50 states under God. Currently, there are 318.9 million people living in the United States, all who have their own personal goals that they are working to accomplish. People who have different jobs, priorities, religions, and cultures. All these people were able to unite under one form of law and form into one country. We did not make it to this point on our own. There were a lot of decisions to make and actions that were taken. There were wars for freedom and independence, those in leadership making tough choices. That is one big thing that helped the United States become what it is today. Leadership is what started this country and what runs it now. There are many forms of leadership, whether it's leading people through a conflict or it is serving others. One big type of leadership that has led this country is ethical and unethical leadership, and the leadership roles through our fights in civil rights wars. In December of 1955, Rosa Parks got on a bus that would take her home in Montgomery, Alabama. When the bus filled up, the driver asked Miss Parks to give up her seat for a white passenger, but Miss Parks refused. When the driver demanded why she won't stand up, she replied, "I don't think I should have to stand up." Soon police came and arrested Miss Parks. This small act of protest Rosa Parks took on the bus that day led to 13 months of protest, and soon the Supreme Court's decision that segregation on a public bus was unconstitutional. This decision is known as the Montgomery bus boycott. MLK was a leader that favored nonviolent protest and fought his whole life for equality and civil rights of others. One example of how MLK worked to accomplish his goals is his letter from a Birmingham jail. In this letter, he points out where all the cruelty and racism is happening. He does not sugarcoat it. He says what people do not want to hear. He also uses great formality and wording to catch the attention of others. He said, "There comes a time when a cup of endurance runs over and men are no longer willing to plunge into an abyss of injustice. I hope, sirs, you can understand our legitimate and unavoidable impatience." Here he is stating how could everyone not see why men are upset and resisting law. Along with this stating the terrible things, he also offers a solution, a plan. This is what good leaders do, not just state the problem but give a solution. Unfortunately, MLK passed before he could see his dream be finished. Abraham Lincoln had to make a lot of hard decisions during the American Civil War, but the Emancipation Proclamation might not have seemed like a very tough one. Lincoln thought that slavery was a disgusting thing and he did not support it. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued January 1st, 1863, and it abolished all slavery. When it took effect, 3.1 million slaves were freed. It did take a while for all the states to adopt the new legal status, but soon slavery had ended. Adolf Hitler served in the German army during World War I, and when their country lost, Hitler blamed the Jews along with many others who did too. Soon after Hitler joined the Nazis group, he wrote his book where he talked about what would happen if all Jews were exterminated from Germany. He was obsessed with what he called making the German race pure. At first, Nazis were just harassing Jews, ruining their homes and businesses. But in 1939, they started forcing tens of thousands of Jews from their homes and into ghettos. They gave their homes to ethnic Germans. In 1941, Germans began transporting many Jews from ghettos in Poland to concentration camps. They took the ones that seemed the least useful, the sick, the old, and very young. But in 1942, 5 more mass killing centers were built, the largest one being Auschwitz. If Jews weren't taken to concentration camps to be gassed, they were used to make weapons or used to experiment on. In the summer of 1944, even with the events of D-Day and signs that the end for Germany in the war was close, Nazis were deporting Jews to Auschwitz and killing up to 12,000 a day. Germany's actual surrender in World War II happened in 1945, a week after Hitler committed suicide. This is the biggest genocide in history. This huge war happened all because one wrong man was chosen as a leader to follow. Hitler and his allies spent years taking people's civil rights and their lives. The memorials and museums all over the world help keep a reminder of the events that have happened in the United States and what the United States has overcome.